Ronnie, listen, we ain't never ashamed of the Braves. Believe that. I just wanted to, wear my hat backwards. So please don't get that twisted. We ain't never ashamed. So keep kill all that noise. We still riding with the Braves. We still riding with the team. So don't ever get that confused, man. Listen, it's Friday, and my birthday was yesterday. Turned a big 4-4. Hit that Obama number, man. And it's been a wild ride. Honestly, I didn't even if you had asked me, some years ago, I kind of had bought into this statistic that people coming from where I came from that we wouldn't make it to to this age, but man, God has been good, man, and I made it to 44, and I'm just grateful, man. And I didn't really want to come on and talk about anything heavy, man. I just wanted to have a good time and just cover, a lot of different subjects, try to have some fun, man. Celebrating my birthday, 44 years. I'm grateful for that. Hoping, that the Lord will, give me another 44 around the sun, man. Just having, a good time, just enjoying life, and appreciating everything that God has done for me in this moment. It's funny, in my 44th year, who knew that this is where we would be at this point in our country, dealing with this madness that we're dealing with it. And I said I didn't want to make this real heavy, but how can we not have this discussion about this election we had? We just saw the two presidential candidates, one of them, of course, being the sitting president, and then Joe Biden, who's vying for, who's he's vying for the seat, and they went at it the other night, man, and I when I watch these debates, and not that I really watched them because I didn't really watch the debate last night. I followed along with the comments on Twitter, and I was able to gain everything that I needed to know from Twitter. About the conversation, because at the end of the day, there was nothing that was going to be said last night that was going to change my mind about how I felt about, the candidate that I'm voting for. That there was nothing that either one of them could have said that would have swayed me from that decision. I'm not one of those undecided voters. If you are, I think we are 22 days away, somewhere in there. And if at 22 days you're still undecided, then you apparently have not been paying attention these last couple of months, weeks. And so I'm not one of those undecided voters. I know, who I'm going to vote for. My vote will be cast next week. And so there was nothing that could be said. But, just in case y'all forgot, and I want to clarify something because, the POTUS misspoke when he did his debate. He said he was the least racist person in the room, and I'm here to clarify that I think I qualify as the non-racist in the room. Because when you say you're the least racist, that you admit that you are surrounded by other races, but of all the other racists that you're surrounded around, you are the least racist of them all. Again, it reminds me, I believe it was, Andrew Gillum when he was running against the current mayor of Florida. He said, he may not be racist, but the racist thinks he's racist. And when you look at where we are in the country, there is a demographic of people that he may say he's not racist. And by all accounts, he's had some interactions with the black community in the past, for good. And then, of course, we all know the infamous article he took out in one of the New York papers. But they think he's racist. So either way, man, it is what it is. So hey, it's my birthday, man. We having a good time. Actually, yesterday was my birthday, but this is, my birthday weekend. And normally I'm at that age, where we go from October 1st to October 31st. So I celebrate, during Libra season and Scorpio season. And listen, ain't nothing you can do about it. You just going to deal with it. It is what it is. Because I'm grown. But so we've had a good time. So, I made a decision. I came to a decision. When I was, as I was coming into my, thank you, Showback. Appreciate that, man. Much love to you. Appreciate that. I came into a decision, as I was, celebrating my birthday, and this decision, because I want to talk to y'all about it, and I want y'all to give me your thoughts, man. Let me know what y'all think about it, right? I want to really hear from you. And if you want to come in on the conversation, by all means, the link is in the comments, man. Tap in and I'll bring you in. I'm always looking for people to talk to. I hate just sitting here talking to the camera by myself, but I like engagement, man. So y'all tap in, holler at your boy, talk to me. It's Friday, man. We feel good. We ain't gonna get into nothing heavy. We ain't got time. We already know what this is. We already know what we gotta do. So we ain't gonna keep talking about that. What's happening, Carlos Page, my guy? That's my dude right there, man. Like for real. That's my guy. And just happy, man, to take this ride with him. But y'all tap in, man. Talk to your boy. Holler at me. So, right. I was thinking, I'm 44 years old. I'll be 45 next year. And I was having a conversation with my father not too long ago about some transitions that I wanted to make. And I was calculating these transitions because as a father and a husband, the thing that I'm always concerned about is how will my transitions, how will these shifts, how will these moves affect my family? What would it do for them? And so I was having a conversation with him, and I expressed that to him. I said, man, I want to make sure that, whatever I do, that if the Lord calls me, that the lifestyle that my family is living, that they don't have to change their lifestyle because I'm no longer around, right? So I had this conversation with him, and he stops me in the middle of conversation. You are absolutely right, sir. That will not be, no. That will not be my Trump year. No, sir. We're not going to claim that. 2020 has been bad enough. We will not do that in 2021. No, sir. so I had this conversation with my pops, man, and I told him, I'm thinking about making these transitions. I'm thinking about doing these different things. The only thing that I'm concerned about is as I make these transitions, I want to ensure that my family, is taken care of, and that they don't have to worry, that their lifestyle does not have to change, that at least, if I'm not around, the lifestyle that they're living now will continue as it is, or it will improve. I don't want them to have to change how they're living, next year, or not next year, or when I'm not around. And so my father stops me, and he says, son, he said, I worked 36 years. And in those 36 years that I was working, he says, I positioned myself where your family does not have to worry about how they're going to live if you're not around. That was a powerful statement for me, that my father had positioned our family to the point that if not that if he's not around, but if I'm not around, that the lifestyle that my family lives right now will not have to change. That was powerful to me. And I know, when he, and I, I can verify that that's true what he said, because I knew that he had done some things, but I didn't know the depth at which he had done this thing. But he says, he said to me, he has positioned himself where my family does not have to worry about how their lifestyle, how they're going to live. Hey, Kim, thank you for joining me. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. And so when I heard him say that my father had positioned himself where my family does not have to worry about how they're going to live when I'm not around, it did something to me, because he has positioned himself where if I'm not around, my wife, my daughter, don't have to switch up their lifestyle. They will still be able to go along in life the way that they are now, or it will be better. And so that got me to thinking, yeah, Doc, that was powerful. Definitely legacy. And that got me to thinking. That made me sit down in my 44th year and say, okay, that's what your father has done for you and for your family and for your daughter and for her children, if she has children, right? He's done that. He's taken care of his, my father has taken care of his sons. He's taken care of his sons' children. What have I had to ask myself, have I positioned myself that when I'm no longer around, that my daughter, even though my father says he's already set that up, have I added to the fact that when I'm not around, my daughter, if if she decides to have kids, her kids, that they won't have to worry about their lifestyle? Am I putting myself in position to do the same? And it made me sit down and can I tell y'all, I really had to say what I'm doing right now, even though I've got some things that, I got money put in certain places. I'm not doing bad. Let me say it like that. I'm not doing bad as it relates to right now. But what about when I'm no longer around? Have I positioned myself that I can ensure, in case something happens on my father's end, have I done something? Have I put myself in place to ensure their legacy, to ensure that they don't, that their lifestyle does not change? And can I tell y'all, I had to be honest with myself and say I have not done enough. And so, I decided that I needed to make some moves that would solidify my family's legacy and lifestyle in the case that I'm not around. I want them to be able to live. I want them to be able to be in a position that even if I can't get up in the morning, something happens and I can't get up in the morning and I can't physically go to work because in my current profession, I use this, I use my mouth, I use my brain. But if I become incapacitated, that I cannot continue to function at the level that I'm functioning with now, even if I'm around, will they still be able, will I still have put us in position where we're able to continue our lifestyle, or will we be at the mercy of other people? And so, as I'm thinking about these transitions, I had to decide that if I'm going to help, you know, lower this generational wealth gap and all of this, then I had to do something now to ensure that my family was taken care of, and that my family's family was taken care of. And so, I made some decisions. And I'll give y'all more clarity about it as it happens. But I'm positioning myself right now where I'm setting up some business ventures. And let me clear this out of the way right now. No, it's not multi-level marketing or anything like that. This is legit business, because there are legit businesses that you can go into where you can make a lot of money and secure the wealth of your family and secure the lifestyle of your family. It doesn't have to be anything like multi-level marketing. There really are some. Look at Jeff Bezos. Look at Warren Buffett and all of those. And so there are some things that you can do. I decided that I needed to make a switch. Been talking to somebody, I just needed to be able to put myself in position that my family does not have to worry about, what happens to them in the case that I become incapacitated. What happens to them if I'm no longer around? It amazes me that in my 44th year, I still have these conversations. I still have these conversations with my father at 44, and he's still dropping these dimes. He's still dropping these nuggets, man. Still dropping this knowledge that makes me think about where I am in life. And he wasn't telling me that to say to me, son, you slacking on nothing. He just wanted me to know, if you make a transition right now, that's okay. You don't have to worry about what's going to happen, to your family. They're good. You just need to ensure that you're good. And so, at 44, man, I decided that I needed to make some. I needed to make some transitions. I needed to put some things in place, because I'm just going to be honest with y'all. For most of y'all that know me, for most of you that are watching, y'all know, that I preach for a living, and not only do I preach, and this is not to be disparaging or to make a negative remark. I preach for the churches of Christ, and we ain't getting rich, through preaching, and so and really, preaching is not something that I can pass down, to my family. And so I just needed to put myself in position where, I could ensure that when I'm not around, that they're taken care of. And so and so, like I said, I'll talk more about that later on once we get everything finalized, man, and we get things in place. And hopefully, and then the other thing, the reason that I wanted to be able to do this is because I come from small town Georgia, and when I tell you I come from small town Georgia, I really come from small town Georgia. In the entire community, even in the entire county that I grew up in, there are 96,000 people in the entire county, right? Um, so when I go back home and I look at the community that raised me, when I look at where I grew up, the poverty level is so depressing, man. There's one side of town, the side of town I grew up on, the side of town that I grew up, that I went to high school in, man. It is desolate. It is barren. People are barely making it. There's no, the economy is not moving. There's nothing happening. And so the other reason that I want to be able to do this is because I want to get into a position where I can help my community, where I can give back to the place that helped formulate who I am today. Because at the end of the day, I want to help not just that community, but I want to help the entirety of the Black community. I want to be able to put myself in position so that I can help others, because I really believe the idea that the reason that the Lord gives us this seed, gives us this blessing, is not so that we can hoard the seed or that we can keep the seed, but I believe He gives us the seed so that we can plant the seed, so that we can bring up other trees, so that those trees can bear fruit, and so that from the fruit of the trees that we planted, other people can eat. So that from the shade that is being provided by the trees that we plant, people can sit under there and get some rest, get some respite, that they can get some rest. And so I believe that when He gives us this seed, that He gives us this seed so that we can go and plant it, not that we can keep it to ourselves, not so that we can consume the seed, but rather that so we can take the seed, we can plant the seed, and that from us planting the seed, other trees will grow, more fruit will be born, people can eat off the fruit, and hopefully when they get the fruit off the tree, they will take the seed, and they will take that seed and they will plant the seed. And you see how this just keeps going on and on and on. You get fruit from the tree that I planted, you plant the seed, now somebody's coming along and they're getting fruit from the tree that you planted. Then they plant the seed, then they get, and the problem is we are not planting enough seeds to help other people eat off the tree, because a lot of times we become selfish, and instead of us replanting the seed that we've gotten, we want to consume the seed. We want to eat the seed, not realizing the seed was never meant for us to be consumed, but rather it was meant for us to be planted so that other trees could grow and people could eat, generations from now. And so that's what I want to do. Because when we think about all of this stuff that we've been hearing, the Platinum Plan, the contract with Black America, Joe Biden's plan, we hear all of that. At the end of the day, listen to what I'm saying. There's a difference between prosperity and posterity. At the end of the day, our posterity is going to depend on what we do in our communities. And through our posterity, prayerfully, we'll be able to create prosperity. But we have got to secure our legacies now, because there are people that are trying to erase who we are from this country, and I refuse to allow them. While I'm still capable and able to help, I refuse to allow them to erase and eradicate us from this place, so that there's no longer any memory that we were ever on this planet. And so I want to be able to do my part. And so I'm, like I said, I'm putting some things in place, because I'm really big this year about supporting those businesses that support the black community and supporting those businesses that are black owned, because it's one thing to support black owned businesses, but then there are some businesses, though they are not black owned, they do support the black community. So if you're pouring money back into the community that I'm a part of, and you're trying to help raise up our economics, raise up our prosperity, help create our posterity, then I'm going to support you. And I'll support you until such time that you show me differently. And so that's where I am. And so I'm at this point in my life where I want to be able to create something that I can look back on and say that I ensured that my family was taken care of. And now that I've solidified my family, I want to ensure that my community is taken care of, because there's going to become a generation of young people behind me, and they're going to look and say, what did they leave us to hold on to? Because if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm 44 years old, and there was a generation of people that left us a legacy. But what have we done with the legacy that they've left us? What have we done to show them that we appreciate the things that they've done for us? Listen, man, I really want to hear from y'all. Y'all can tap in, man, and get with me, and let's talk about this. Let's have some conversation. But what have we done? What have we done for the generation that's coming behind us? What have we done to ensure that people can look at us and they will know our legacy? And so that's where I am, man. That's the decision that I've made, that I really, from now, from where I am in my 44th year, my running from this point forward is for me to run to ensure that I can solidify my family, because I got to take care of them first, to solidify my family. But while I'm solidifying my family, I want to solidify my community. I want to ensure that other people can come along and eat from the tree that I have planted. And so there'll be more details, like I said, once I get it solidified. While we're talking, what are some things? What are some things that you think that we can do to create our legacy? What are some things? I want y'all to put these in the comments. What are some things that you all think that we can do right now to solidify our posterity, to ensure that we always leave something for other people to eat from? And I appreciate that, Alvin. And really, man, that's what came to me. On my birthday, I was not thinking about what I could do for myself. I was thinking about how could I help other people. What is it that I want to be able? When I'm dead and gone, when it's all over, whether people say good things about me or not, what they will not be able to say is he didn't leave anything for others to be able to eat from. You will not say that I did not plant a tree that you could not get shade from, that you cannot say that I did not plant a tree that you could not eat from. And I'm going to tell you, my father put that in my spirit when he told me, he had already put stuff in place that my family will be taken care of after long after I'm gone. But he put that in my spirit, and then it's like the Lord was letting me know that this is the direction that I should be going in. Because after that conversation, then I had conversations with other cats, man, and they were saying, hey, listen, look into this, look at this, these are some things that I think you could do. This is how I think you ought to put it together. This is how I think you ought to shape this. This is a direction that you can go in. And so having those conversations, man, it really made me realize that this is what this is about. That I want to be able to help other people, and I want to be able to help our community, because I'm tired of the fact that we keep going to people with our hands out and asking them to help. We're not even asking them to help us. We're asking them, can we at least be human? Do we have the right to earn a living? Do we have the right to claim wealth? Do we have the right to claim prosperity? Kim says this: more teaching on financial literacy is a great start in teaching our children from an early age to respect money by saving. Yeah, Kim. I think that's definitely a start. But I would love it if our people, you can save, but don't let me say it like this. Financial literacy is definitely needed because one of the things that we've talked about a lot is we've talked about reparations. But my fear is if say the next administration decides we're going to give we're going to give the black community reparations. My fear is because we have a consumer mindset. They already know that they're not going to keep it long. They're just going to put it back in the community because they're going to make Cadillac the number one dealership. They're going to ensure that they're going to make sure that Jordan has the biggest brand. Hold tight, family. I got my man coming in on me here. My guy, Carlos, what's happening with you, baby?
What's up, boy? How
Hey
you
man,
doing, man?
hey Doc, we hey living brother, living man. What's good? Talk to me.
Man, just finished voting, man.
Cool.
At Smoothie King Center, man. It was pretty cool. They had everything kind of organized, so didn't have to wait too long. About 20 minutes, man. I was in and out.
No doubt. So
Yeah,
so
man.
so
They actually had your boy Kanye on the ballot, man.
say that again.
I said they actually had your boy Kanye on the ballot, man.
Stop this. Stop.
No
Are you
lies,
serious?
man. No lies, bro. No lies, doc.
So
Yeah, man.
Kanye actually made it onto the Louisiana ballot.
Kanye is on the Louisiana ballot. Yeah,
And
doc.
the thing that's funny about that, I'm gonna let you finish, but the thing that's funny about it is Louisiana has a Democratic governor, and but let's not be mistaken. Even though y'all have a Democratic governor, Louisiana still is a red state.
It's still a red state, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He's attached to the birthday party, doc.
The what party? I think I did hear
Yeah,
that his party was like the birthday
yeah,
party or something, and I don't even understand what that means.
birthday party.
What is that?
He's a that's Kanye, man. It's the instability. But man, what I like to talk about, you was talking about the legacies and stuff, man. I just wanted to share this with people because we don't teach these things. I attended a summit a couple of years ago, man. And, one of the big guys from HGTV, he was doing a class on real estate investing, and he said some things in there that just blew my mind. He said when each one of his children were born, he bought each one of them a house.
Wow.
And what he did with that is that they use those as rental properties, and they never touched the money. So every month they paid the mortgage on those properties, and everything else was lanyard. They put it into an account for their children. So at 18 years old, upon graduating, if they get scholarships, they now have a nice nest egg. They have money to go to college with. If they get scholarships, their college is paid for, and they have now that money to go out into the real world and be successful. They have great credit,
No doubt.
um, and they also have a house. Um, he said he did that for every child that was born. And I just thought that was so significant, man. It's because what we're doing, we're setting up our children, the next generation, to be successful.
Truly.
While we're still trying to play catch up and behind the eight ball, um, we're gonna be 2-3 generations down the road before we ever um, even get on the even playing field.
Truly.
And so I wanted to share that, man, because that's some of the things that I'm working hard on right now is to get some property, man, for my son. And I don't know if you ever heard that Steve Harvey talk where he talked about, he realized that out of all the people in the world, that everybody should be guaranteed a certain amount of property. And so
Truly.
he started praying to God that he would give him his piece of property. And then he went back home, and all his homeboys that were doing life in prison, he asked them, "Hey, can I have your property? Because you're not going to use it."
Wow.
And so that's one of the things that I think as blacks, especially, man, one of the first things God ever promised man was that he was going to give them land.
Sure.
And until we start understanding what we own, we'll never know what to buy next.
No, and that's real, man. Because this is the thing, they ain't making no more land, bro.
Ain't they making no more?
You know,
Ain't
and
making no more.
I was looking. You know, Rick Ross owns 245 acres in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and just yesterday he bought another 87 acres. You know, because he understands the wealth behind land ownership. Um,
Right.
and I think you're right. We definitely need to get into that. I'm gonna share something with you know with my about my family that a lot of people don't know, and we don't really talk about it. But yeah, man, we've got to. I think and see, and that I think that's what bothers me about this whole drug game, because people are fighting for turf, and they're having these tough turf wars and these land wars about places that they don't own any land in.
Yeah,
You
man.
own no real
Yeah.
estate in there. So how in the world, are you, come on, man. We have to do better.
And Nipsey tried to change the game, man. He tried to show us.
No doubt, man. Cowards hate.
He tried to show us that, yeah.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
man.
I'm listening.
No, I was just saying, man, Nipsey tried to show us, man. He was making moves in that direction, man. But I think that's where we gotta, if we want to start somewhere, we gotta start putting ourselves in positions, man, to own and stop renting.
No doubt, and we got to get out of this consumer mindset. We've got to start producing stuff. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no doubt about it when it comes to with
But man, I'm gonna jump off, man. I just wanted to share that little bit. But I'm gonna say this to everybody that's watching, man.
yeah.
Stop taking advice from broke people. If somebody has never built nothing, it's not constructive criticism.
So you're right. Love you, boy.
All right, man.
All right, man. Yeah. So Carlos is right, man. And this is the thing. They knew the importance of land. That's why there was this whole 40 acres in a mule thing, right? And then they reneged on the deal or whatnot. One of the things that I was going to say about my family is, again, I'm from the country, right? But back where we're from, um, my family, the family, owns nearly 100 acres. And what they did, and these are farmers. These were not people that were formally educated. These were farmers. These were, people coming fresh out of slavery, sharecroppers. What they did was they put themselves in position where they bought the land that the former slave owner owned, and included in that purchase was the slave owner's house. And my aunt used to live in the former slave owner's house, and they have property on both sides of the highway, and because they knew the importance of land ownership, and that's what I'm saying, man. I'm putting myself in position, and right now, my father owns a good bit of property. Um, um, I say my father, my parents own a good bit of property. And so I'm putting myself in position, because I'm telling you all, we don't have to just be basketball players. We don't have to just be, football players. We don't have to, we don't have to just do stuff that involves a ball. We can do other things. We can, and so listen, man. I played street ball, but I knew I wasn't going to the NBA, so I had to be able to use this and this. I've always had the gift of gab. I ain't trying to brag, but I've done that. But I knew that I needed to be able to work with what I had, and since I have that, I can use this gift for more than just preaching. Yes, that I think that's the primary gift that God wants me to use it for, but there are other instances and other things that I could do to put myself in position to be able to do things to help. And so I'm just asking y'all, What are some things that we can do to ensure our legacy, to ensure our posterity, to ensure that we are planting seeds that other people will be able to eat from years from now? And I'm telling y'all something, that real estate game is real. If you know, and I know in most places the cost of living is high, but if you are looking to own a large number of acreage, I'm telling you, look in places like the Southeast. Look in like the Midwest, and I'm talking when I'm talking about Midwest, I'm talking like places like Wyoming, Idaho, where they have like in places like Wyoming and Idaho, where they have more they have more wildlife than they do humans. The property value is low. You know, look in the Southwest. Excuse me. Look in the Southwest. Look in the Southeast. In certain parts of Texas, the land is still cheap, and so definitely not California. Yeah, definitely not California. Forget it. California, New York, don't leave that stuff alone, man. Don't look over there. I would even tell you, don't even look, like in South Florida, Middle Florida, but maybe somewhere in the Panhandle, that area around, Alabama, Louisiana. Look in those areas, man. But we have to, but we have to do something that puts us in place. And so, going back to Kim's comment about saving, absolutely. Now, I think we need to put ourselves in a position where we are saving. But I'm gonna tell you, don't just get your money stuck in banks, man, because the return on investment for your money just sitting there, you're not you're not getting a great percentage. And so you need to look at other assets. You need to look at other ways to accumulate wealth on the money, because this is what they'll do. They will use your money in their banks to loan it out to other people. And this is the thing: somebody will come in and they will give that person, say for instance, they'll give that person a 14% interest rate on borrowing your money. They'll even give you a 14% interest rate on borrowing your money, but the money that you have in that bank will only earn 1%, if that. So the cost for me to borrow the money that I put in your bank is higher than the interest I'm drawing for sitting it in your bank. Come on, man. We've got to be smart about this game. We have to sit down and we have to look at the rules. We have to see the rules of this game they're playing, and there is no way in all of the world. And listen, I don't really want to talk about it, but I just want y'all to show. I just want y'all to see this. You mean to tell me all the money that the president of the United States says he made, he only paid $750 in taxes on that money? He paid more in taxes to a foreign government than he did to the country that he runs. And I'm just going to tell you, I don't know if it's unethical. I cannot say it's illegal. What I can say is that the people that made the tax laws, the people that made the tax rules, were business owners. And so when they made the tax rules, being business owners, who do you think they made the tax rules for? Let me tell you, you're always going to be behind the game because you don't have you don't have a business or whatever. And so of course when they're writing these tax laws, the tax laws are going to benefit the business owners. So when we get our legislators in office, who do you think that they are going to who do you think they're going to represent? Because at the end of the day, these lobbyists that are holding that are lobbying them, a lot of them are business owners, and so they're talking to them. That's why when I hear this conversation about Biden's tax plan, about this, that, and the third, people are saying he's going to raise the tax, and people that because he said he's going to raise the tax on people that are making $40,000 a year, and people who are barely scraping $4,000 a year are upset about what? It doesn't even it doesn't even touch you. Now, if you plan to make $400,000 in the next year, then I could probably understand that. But even still, why wouldn't you want to be able to put into the economy if you want really if you want to stir the economy? Why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? And so, yeah, I think we need to definitely financial literacy has to be a part of our game plan. And yes, we need to ensure that we are saving, but don't get stuck in saving because you're not getting a fair return on the money that you have in the bank. And so you've got to look into other wealth building strategies. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I invest. I do all of those things. I meet with a financial advisor. Nearly every month to ensure that I'm on track. I contribute to that. I get if I get little checks here and there for certain things, I put that into my into my mutual fund account, or I put that into my you know into my stocks, because I want to ensure that I'm building wealth. And so we've got to get to a point where we are doing stuff that will help us create. And let me tell y'all something. If you're 40, I'm 44, and I'm gonna tell you, because a lot of people will get stuck. When I was thinking about, after I had that conversation with my father, I'm thinking, man, I'm 44 years old. I'm coming into the game late. And I had to ask myself, is it ever too late to put your family in a position where they can win? Is there ever a time when that's too late? And so, at 44, by a lot of people standing, I'm still, young. And so I still got some time, and I'm praying that the Lord gives me that time. But man, if you're in your 30s and your 20s, why not, put yourself in position that, you can win, that you can put some stuff aside, that you can put yourself in a position where, after it's all said and done, you can look back and you can really retire. Because, one of the things that I don't want to have to see, one of the things that I hate to see really a lot of times is when I know people who have put in, 20, 30 years in the military, and they still got to go and get a second job, not because, they don't have anything else that they can do. Because think about it. I just want to see some of your comments. And I just want y'all to answer this question. If you, if you, say you had, I'll give a conservative number. If you had 2.5 million sitting in the bank after you retired, couldn't you find something else to do other than going and finding another job? Is there not something else you could find to do? And I want y'all to help me. I want y'all to be real with me. I want y'all to humor me. If you had $2.5 million sitting in the bank after you retire, what are some of the things that you would do? Just humor me, because I just cannot see, if I've worked for 30 some odd years in a position, the last thing I want to do is go and get another job. 30 years working for somebody else, and then I called myself to have retired, and now I'm going to go and get another job. As y'all are, writing in the comments, one of the things that I found funny was, my father, after he retired, he went to, he said, man, I just want to, get a little piece of job to, just, put a little change in my pocket. And so he tried, and man, my father probably stayed at that job for 2 weeks, and he was like, "No, I can't do this." I haven't been in a position where I ain't worked for nobody else in a long time. And I think he had been retired maybe 3 or 4 years at that point. He was like, "Nah, I can't see me, because now they trying to control when I come and when I, and then nah." And so I just don't see how you could have worked for somebody all that time, and then you go back and you get another job. And so I really want us to be able to put ourselves in a position where we can control the narrative that is being said about us. One of the things that I know of that is if we're going to decrease the wealth gap, then there's got to be some work on our end. You know, we are giving our power over to too many people because we're asking them permission to let us create wealth. We're asking them permission to let us, own homes. We're asking them permission to let us, be able to drive nice cars. We're asking, and what's funny is we're talking about this whole debate thing, and it goes from, building a wall around America to now they're trying to build walls around the suburbs. So they don't even want y'all to go into the suburbs. And I don't want anybody to ever tell me that I can't live in a particular place, because of either because of the color of my skin or because of my economics. I want to be able to always be in a position where I can live where I want to live. And so we've got to do that because we've got to increase our economic education, and we've got to increase our economics overall. And so, as we get ready, to pull this thing, in, man, I want, y'all to know that in my 44 years, man, the thing that hit me was I've got to make sure that I put my family in a position, even those, grandkids that I don't have yet, those nieces and nephews that I don't have yet. I want to be able to ensure that I put them in a position that they don't have to worry about how they're going to make it. I'm one of two children that my parents have. I've got a younger brother, and our motto has always been we're all we got. And one of the things that I want to be able to do is I want to be able to create a situation where even he is taken care of. He's my little brother. I felt that he's always been my responsibility. And so when my parents are not around and he needs some help, I want to be able to be that big brother where he doesn't have to worry, where he doesn't have to struggle, where his children don't have to struggle, where his children don't have to worry. I want to put myself in that position where I can help him, where I can help his family, where I can help, myself, where I can help my family, and then extend that to the greater context of my community. Because there's no reason why we supposed to live in the richest country in the world, and there are people that are sleeping on our streets. There's no reason why, if we are living in the richest country in the world, that somebody's grandmother has to make a decision between whether she's going to pay for her medicine or whether she's going to keep the lights on. There's no reason why, if it is true that we live in the richest country in the world, that a single mother has to sit down and figure out, in this neighborhood I live in, is it worth me leaving my children at night so I can go and work a second or third job so I can put food on the table? These are decisions that people ought not have to make. These are decisions that people ought not have to be able to struggle with. For me, it's not an either or, it's a both and. We've got to put ourselves in a position where we are helping each other, where nobody has to struggle. Now, I want you to understand that this is not about giving people a handout. This is about giving people a hand up. We have to give people a launching pad where they can go and they can thrive. We can't put them in positions where it's always against them. And so I want to be considered a launch pad for my community. I want to be considered a launch pad for my people. I want us to be in a position where people can spring forward and have an opportunity. I want to be, one of the things that I've always dreamt about, one of the things that I've always wanted to do was I've always wanted to be in a position where, I can go to an HBCU and I can find a kid, that comes from, a bad, background, and they're doing well in school. And I just tell the president of the college, hey, listen, their tuition is taken care of for the next 4 years, and they don't have to worry about that. Even though, our man got into a little, tax trouble, but the guy that went in, paid everybody's, school debt at Morehouse. But and see the thing that I find funny about that is they they came after him when he has used the rules that they created. But see, the rules were not created for him to use. The rules were created for them to use. And so, of course, when they hear that this black man is paying the tuition of all of these graduating students from this historical black college, now we're launching an investigation, and he's got to pay this. He's got to pay that money back. But even with him having to pay that money back, I just read a day or so ago that he still reached out and gave some kids like $40 million to help with some other project. And so that's where I want to be. I want to be able to put myself in a position where I'm able to help people who are really striving, who are really trying to do things. They're really trying to better themselves, and they're trying to better their lives. And every now and again, people just need a little help as they try to push forward. And so that's what I want to be able to do. And so, as I make these shifts and I make these transitions, I want to be able to put myself in a position, and not just myself. I want to be able to help you. I want to be able to put you in a position where you can survive. I want us to be able to collaborate, where we can help somebody, where we can help a neighborhood, where we can help a people. Maybe we get to a position where we see 100 acres that's for sale, and we go in on it together, and we buy this land and we deed it out to each other. And this is our part of our community, our economy, where we're putting our children in position so that by the time, right now there are some people that have kids in high school. How good would it be that by the time your children graduate from high school, that you've already put them in a position where their college is paid for, and where they don't want to have to worry about trying to go out and settling for the first job that comes along, because they got to pay for these student debts, where they can really have some choice. The thing with wealth, with money, with all of these things, it's not about being happy. It's about having the freedom of choices. It's about being unshackled from having to accept what people give you. It's about being free enough to know that when you lay down at night, the last thing that you have to have a conversation about is the money situation. Money conversations are the number one reasons that a lot of people are ending up in divorce court. Here are two people that don't have any assets to split, but they're in divorce court talking about assets. So really what they're trying to figure out when they're in divorce court is who's going to take on the most of the debt. And so we've got to put ourselves where we eliminate that from the dialogue, where we eliminate that from the conversation. One of the biggest things that we're discussing in all of these plans, the CWBA, the Platinum Plan, Biden's plan, is about how they're going to help increase the economics of the black community. And I think that should be part of the conversation. My thing is just give us what you promised us, that you said that you would give us. Give us that, and we'll figure the rest out. And so I want to be able to put us in that position where we don't have to ask people, where we don't have to ask permission to be human, where we don't have to ask permission to create a livelihood, where we don't have to ask permission for our children to have nice things, where we don't have to ask permission for our wives to have nice homes, or our spouses to have nice vehicles, where I don't have to ask, is it all right if I take my family on vacation? Can I vacation in this place? Because I'm telling you, when you are tied to a paycheck, they determine where you can go on vacation. They determine how long you can go on vacation. They determine how you can live. They determine where you can live. They determine what you drive, how you drive it. They determine a lot. And so we've got to put ourselves in a position where we can lift our communities, where not only that, but we can put ourselves in a position where we can mitigate, if not altogether eradicate, the gentrification that's happening in our neighborhoods. Because what seems like a good thing, they're increasing the value in our economies. What they're really doing is they're making it hard for some of our people to stay in the communities that we are. And so we have to be able to find a balance where we can do both, help increase the economics, but ensure that we don't kick grandma out of her house, where we make it hard for her to be able to afford the property taxes. How good would it be that we had ourselves in a position that even though we're increasing the economy, that we can go down to the courthouse and we can pay for the property taxes of, Miss Janine, if you will, who lived across the street, who's always been there. She's the block. She's the mother of the block, and we want to be able to help her stay in her home. That if she chooses to die in her home, that's her choice, and we don't force her out where she has to die in a nursing home alone without anybody surrounding her. And so, family, that was my thing. That was my big epiphany, that I'm going to put myself in a position. We're going to talk more about it once it all comes to fruition. Once I put it all together, once it's finalized, we'll come back. We'll talk about it. We'll give you some, because I want to be able to help. Like I said, I want to be able to help my family. I want to be able to help. And I want to be able to help you all, help our community. And so I hope y'all are partnering with me as we get ready to go into this, as we get ready to change the game. Because for me, it doesn't matter who sits in the White House in 2021, 2021. It's going to be our year. It's going to be our year that we're going to rebound, even after all of this foolishness that we've seen in 2020. And so, folks, I appreciate y'all. I'm grateful for everything that y'all. I thank y'all for hanging out with me. I hope I kind of helped you a little bit. I hope I got some wheels to turn, and let's see what great things that God will do for us in the coming years. God bless y'all, man. We'll see y'all next week.